okay, so I'm going to preface this with my story is not normal. It's not, don't expect this to happen. I got lucky in my situation. But so I used querytracker.net to track all the agents that I was interested in, to track all the queries that I had sent out for all of my different projects. And after I finished this, one of the things that I picked up from going to Midwest Writers is if your query letter doesn't work, you're not getting requests, you need to fix your query letter. And I felt so good about this book. Like this was just, it was completely different from what I'd written before, but it was so much more my style and my voice that I just felt really good. There was something about it that I'm like, this is it. This is the one. And so I went on querytracker.net and I looked to see, oh, my agent's going to kill me when she finds out. I looked for all the agents who had quick responses and also had a high level of yeses, like requesting stuff. Because if I couldn't get those people to request my novel, then my query letter probably didn't work. That was my rationale. That's what I was thinking. And then that's exactly what I did. I sent it to 10 agents. And of those 10, I got requests from 3. Liza, sorry, I have teenagers at home. Liza requested the full, but she wanted an exclusive. And, you know, when you go to a lot of writing conferences, they'll be like, oh, if they ask for exclusives, you just want to steer clear because that's not how we do things in, you know, the industry. They assume you've got it out with other people. And so I sent out, she's going to be so bad. I sent out the request from the other people and then I emailed her and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I can't do an exclusive because these other people have it. And there was a lot of back and forth. And eventually she said, okay, I'm going to waive my exclusive. I can't stop thinking about your query letter. I would really like to see your pages. So this was on like a Wednesday. She asked for the pages. Maybe it was Tuesday or Wednesday. She asked for the pages. I spent 24 hours like going through and polishing up as much as I possibly could. And then I sent it off to her. And I didn't expect to hear from her for a very long time. So on Friday, I got an email that said, I love this. I have so many thoughts. Can we talk? Like, can we have a phone call? And I was like, the phone call. That's amazing. And we had originally set the phone call for Sunday, and I don't know why. Neither of us knows why we did that, because like she had something going on at her kids' school. I had something going on with the family. Like we were trying to like put this really important phone call in like a 20-minute window that we had that overlapped. We ended up pushing it off till the following Tuesday because we wanted to like really like have some time to talk. We talked on Tuesday, and I think I knew the first moment, like the first 5 minutes, that this was the agent for me. She talked so fast and with such a New York accent that I really had to focus to pay attention to what she was saying. But what I got in my gut, besides like the goosies in my gut, I was like, I think she loves this book maybe a little bit more than I do. And that's what I wanted in an agent. I wanted somebody who was going to like be passionate about the story, see and love RJ for all her flaws, and want to like help me get this story out into the world. And so I had the book out with some other people at that point. I did the whole, okay, give me 2 weeks because I've got other agents have this book, and, you know, as a courtesy, and she was fine. She was very, very concerned that I was making good moves for my career. So she did not want to like push the subject while the book was out with other agents. She didn't want me to burn any bridges. And she didn't, you know, she was, and I respected that because she was already not my agent, but already looking out for my career, making sure that I was making smart moves. And Thursday I called her, and this was before, it was a holiday weekend. So I'm going to say it must've been Memorial Day. And I called her on Thursday and I was like, you're the one. Like I've been thinking about it, and you're my agent. And she's like, okay, so we're going to get off the phone you're going to call or contact every single one of those agents and withdraw. I'm not going to send you an offer until you have told me you have contacted all the other agents and withdrawn. Again, still looking out for my career, still making sure that in the industry, like I didn't have a black mark against my name because I did it wrong. And again, that was another reason why I'm like, this is the most amazing woman ever. So we did that, signed the contract, and we sold the book. The first time we sold the book, I think, was in August or September of that year. So we went from like less than a week to becoming connected through the agency, and then took a couple more months to sell the book.
So the first time.
Okay, so yeah.
This is a follow-up question, right?
I set you up for it because I wanted to talk about this. I want to talk about this because it was probably one of the most traumatic things that's happened to me in the publishing world, but it's also, I think, one of the things that made me stronger. And it's a message I want to get out to other authors or other, aspiring writers and authors. So we sold my book to a publishing house. We had 3 offers for the book. We ended up going with a publishing house in England. And I really liked the books they were putting out. I liked their covers. I loved the editor. It was just a really good match. And so we signed with them, and the book was due to come out the following year in 2024. And I get a call from my agent about a month and a half before the book is due to come out. And I've been asking for cover art and stuff, and they kept pushing me off. And so she asked me, "Are you sitting down?" And she was very calm, and she was talking very slow, and I could barely tell that she had a New York accent. So that made me very scared. And I said, "Well, I'm driving an F-250. And she's like, "You might want to pull over." And I'm thinking, oh no, have they pushed my book back? What's happened? And then that is when she tells me that effective the next day, the publisher was closing its doors, and it was canceling all of its contracts for all of its YA books. And it took me a little while to figure out what that meant, but basically I'd lost my contract, and I was absolutely devastated. And I thought, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen. And I went into a really serious funk because, it's kind of that thing where you've been working for so long to get your dream, and you've done everything you thought you were supposed to do, and you've reached that dream and you've got it and it's right there in your hands, and then it just shatters in your hands. That's what it felt like. So I kind of went into a funk.
For that moment, are we talking about?
Pardon?
Between the 2 novels, and from the time you had 2 under 2 to that moment, how many years of investment of your time and heart and energy are we talking?
Probably about 7 years. That had been about 6 to 7 years of working and writing 3 books and having 2 books just never make it, and finally getting to that thing. And a lot of times when you're an aspiring writer looking for traditional publication, you see that getting that agent is the first gate that you cross through. That makes you a real traditional author. Then it's selling your manuscript and all of that. And once you get there, you're like, yes, this is what I was promised. This is what it was supposed to do. I have a lot of respect for those people who go out and they do self-publishing, or they work with an independent press or something like that. I really do, because that takes a lot of guts and that takes a lot of work. I didn't have the guts or the work ethic to do that. So here I was sitting there, and I felt like everything had collapsed. It was why did I even bother? And it hurt. I can't even express how devastated it was. But this is why, and some people are like, why do you have an agent? You should just do it on your own. And for some people that might work for them. For me, that was the moment that solidified that from now until the time I am 100% sure I am done writing or she retires, I will never, ever leave my agent. Because while I was weeping and moping, we accepted their offer a couple, in September, I think. And then it came out the following October. So that's why you pay agents their percentage, because when you can't get your stuff done, they either make you get your stuff done, or they find a way to get it done themselves. I could never pay her enough for what she did for me in that particular moment. So I hope that makes up from being really sneaky when she first contacted me to see if I was interested in working with her.
One more follow-up, and then I'm going to talk about where there's a whisk available now, esteemed audience. But you had mentioned that she told you that before you could accept her offer of representation, you had to contact every other agent so it would be kosher. Why, for anybody who might be in a similar situation but doesn't have a great agent that gives them that advice, why is that so important?
So when you notify an agent that you have an offer of representation for a book that they're looking at, they're going to drop everything else that they're doing if they're remotely interested, maybe not everything, but everything that they can, and move you to the top of their pile. And especially because this was a holiday weekend, they were going to be spending their holiday weekend reading my manuscript and trying to decide what to do. And if I had made my decision, the respectful thing to do is say, I appreciate you, and I am really sorry that this didn't work out, but I want to withdraw my manuscript, so you don't waste their time. That really is, it's crazy the number of emails and submissions that agents get on a daily basis. And that time is really precious. So she did not want anybody being upset and maybe calling on Monday with an offer of representation. And I was like, yeah, I already decided last week. And they'd spent their whole weekend and given that up for me. So she was really wanting to make sure that not just me personally, but also the authors in her agency were seen as, respectful of the process.